my new Traeger grill. This is actually an early Christmas present, but I want to show you kind of how it works. Now I have smoked on it a couple times. I did already do a video of how to clean it out, and that'll be on the YouTube here shortly. So if you want to come on and check this out, I'll kind of show you how it works. This is the chamber that delivers the cooking pellets, and these are the wood pellets. That's what it cooks on. Obviously more than one, but the wood pellets. Now if you look in here, you see this round circle. That's where all the magic happens in this pit. These little holes, this actually has a built-in fan that circulates and draws the smoke and heat out and starts the convection and the smoke in this pit. Up on top you have an auger, which is a delivery for the pellets, and then in the bottom, that little piece there, that's the hot rod. What that does is that starts the wood pellets on fire. The second it senses there's enough heat, that shuts down. Now this is your temperature gauge, which will tell you what the temperature is, obviously. And then this is your control panel. Okay, so now this is the other part of the Traeger, and this is the auger. This is the delivery of the wood pellets. So this auger spins and turns, and in turn delivers it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get it started up. Now in here you can see the auger actually starting to turn, and that's basically, in a nutshell, how the Traeger actually works. Now in the cooking chamber, fire pot, which I'm going to call it, you can see the auger already starting to deliver the wood pellets. Here in a minute they'll start leaning all over that hot rod, and they'll start smoking, and the fire will start shortly after that. Okay everybody, the grill is starting to smoke, and as you can see the flame actually starting up, and you can see the fan actually blowing the smoke. So what I want to do now is I'm going to shut the lid, and I'm going to show you how much smoke this grill actually generates. And it generates actually quite a lot of smoke. I know I've read a lot on the internet that people don't like the pellet grills because they do not smoke enough. I've cooked on an electric smoker, but not a pellet smoker that much. Like I said, I've only cooked on the Traeger twice. So far, I like it. In some of my other videos, I'm going to do ribs, I'm going to do brisket, and so we can really see the penetration of the smoke into the meat. Now that I've showed you the basics of how the Traeger works, I'm actually going to put it back together, so then I can actually start cooking on it and show you some examples of what it is. Okay, this is what I'm going to call a heat baffle. I don't know the technical name for it from Traeger, but basically this piece goes over in over that pot where the magic happens, and this actually deflects the heat so that the heat cooks evenly. On a Traeger, they say that it's very, very hard, almost next to impossible, to actually burn something on it. So, and this is part of that to help make that possible. Now what I'm going to put in is the drip pan, and what this does is catches all the drippings. So this actually has two little legs on it, and it snaps in, or slides in, just like that. Now what's supposed to happen is any grease from the meat or fat is supposed to run down into here, and it will actually collect in this pail here for easy cleanup. And then last but not least is the actual grill. And this just slides in right on top. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is get it started up, and I'm going to cook some type of thin cut pork steaks to show you how they turn out. So I'm going to turn it on and get it going. Now on the fire up, what you want to do, according to Traeger, is leave the grill open and let it basically warm up. Once you see it start smoking, which takes 5 to 10 minutes, then you go ahead and close your grill until it gets up to temp. And then once it gets up to temp, you can throw your meat on and get going from there. But one thing I did want to add to the Traeger is, with it not getting real hot flare-ups and almost virtually impossible to burn meat, is the actual grill grates are typical porcelain coated grill grates, but now they say these won't rot, they won't rust, as long as obviously you don't leave it out in the elements. But because it doesn't flare up and food doesn't burn and stuff, your grill grates are supposed to last a lot longer on this pit as well. So that was one of the things that I did like about it too, which we'll see over time if this actually does. What I've done is I've got some thinly sliced pork steaks here, which I'll show you in a second. Now what I've done is, we found this at World Market, and I'm like a sucker for all different spices, and I wanted to try this. This is rub some butt seasoning, and what I've done is I seasoned them up and let them sit overnight in the fridge to give them a good seasoning. But that's all I put on these steaks. And the Traeger's ready to go. And like I said, they're thinly sliced pork steaks. So I'm going to go ahead and get these on the grill. And as you can see, the Traeger does put out a lot of smoke. Try not to crowd my meat too much. So what I'm going to do in cooking these is I'm going to let them smoke for probably 30 minutes or so, because they are a thin cut of meat, and then I'll grill them up on a high temp and see how they come out. Okay, I've taken the thin pork steaks off the grill. Now I did smoke them for about 30 minutes, and then I finished grilling them up for about 10. So I don't know if you can see that, but they are pretty juicy and moist. So I'm going to go ahead and take a piece off and do the taste test. Actually, they came out nice and tender with just the right amount of smoke flavor. It's not overpowering. So I would say that pork steaks come out pretty good in the Traeger. Thanks for watching my video.